Hello and welcome back to the ocean. I'm Theory Chum. This is Chum. You're here to learn about Happiest Day. Go ahead, sit tight because I think I have the most coherent answer in all of Five Nights at Freddy's. For nearly 10 years, the Five Nights at Freddy's community has argued over one question. Did Happiest Day actually work? Was the crying child finally set free? Was this about Cassidy? Did anyone move on? Did everyone move on? Did it fail completely? Today I want to propose something different. I don't think Happiest Day failed. I just think we misunderstood the mechanism to how it works. And after Secret of the Mimic, I think Scott may have, directly or indirectly, given us the mechanism that gives us the final answer. Let's just forget the lore for 1 second, right? Imagine you've never played FNAF before, and someone shows you the clock ending. We're collecting the objects, we're placing the objects, we're finding the clocks, and eventually, Glitched Fredbear's goal is achieved. Here's the question nobody asks. Why the objects, right? Why specifically these items? They can't just be rare Easter eggs, as most people think, right? It's not just some random flop, right? Let's look closer to these items. Each object specifically belongs to someone. They're personal, they're recognizable, right? They're all part of restoring something, like the very, very famous quote, but what exactly is it restoring? We never really had that answer. So let's go ahead and look at what I'm talking about with Secret of the Mimic, right? Moon.exe is one of the strangest minigames we've seen, right? At first, it's just one of the other retro mini arcade games. But then as we explore through Secret of the Mimic, we're able to find items and put them in the manners system. Within putting them in the manners system, they then show up in Moon.exe. And then near the end, we recover 3 specific things. David's ball, David's alphabet blocks, and David's favorite plush. They are all required for the glitched permissions. Now see, we don't just collect them and put them into the manor. We get those permissions back from F10. We put them into the Mimic, and then suddenly, the Mimic changes. It starts beginning to behave like David.
The moral of the story is that friendship is the real treasure.
Scott just showed us that childhood objects can reconstruct an identity. That's a gameplay, it's a mechanic of FNAF. The game shows it happen directly. He's not being rebuilt through some mystical ways, right? He's being rebuilt through meaningful pieces of himself. That ball, it's not just a toy, right? He bounced the ball along the moon. It's playing. It's childhood. It's experience. The alphabet blocks, they're not just blocks. They're blocks that spell his name. It's his identity itself. It's who he is. And then we get his favorite plush. The one that he ran through the snow with. It's not just comfort, but that's companionship, a relationship, forming attachments, right? These things don't simply describe David, they recreate him. And that's when it hit me. Scott's already done this before. Let's go back to the clock ending real quick and look at it, right? We're doing almost exactly the same thing. We're taking these meaningful childhood objects, collecting them, and then we're putting them into FNAF World. Does that sound familiar? Because Moon.exe didn't invent this mechanic, it explained it. If Moon.exe teaches us that every object matters, what happens if one of those objects is the wrong object? I have stared at these cubes for years. I've speculated about them. I have gone crazy over them. And something's always bothered me because, especially since Moon.exe, something doesn't belong here, right? Let's look at the crying child compared to David's toys. David bounced the ball along the moon. He played. Cece played with toys, such as Balloon Boy getting his balloon. We put that into the first chest. The second chest is identity. David spelled his name in blocks and put them into the second chest. The second chest for the crying child is also identity. We don't see what the 4 letters are, but we know whether it's Dave or Evan. Both of those names have 4 letters in their name. And then the last one, where David's tiger plush shows his relationship with his favorite plush, FNAF World gives us the Spring Bonnie plush. Why? Because what if this wasn't just another plush, it was a substitution, right? Imagine you're building someone's memories, and then you want to get to the part where you're going to rebuild their identity. Every photograph, every keepsake, every childhood toy, until it's all put together. Then without anyone ever noticing, someone swaps out one of those photographs. They swap out one of those memories or one of those objects. Would that reconstruction still be perfect? Or would something be missing? Did Happiest Day fail? Right? I want to be very clear that I'm not arguing that Happiest Day failed. Quite the opposite. I think Happiest Day succeeded perfectly in the way it was supposed to. It restored everything that was actually a part of that mini game, which is everything that was part of the mixes. So I don't think it's that Happiest Day didn't work. I think Happiest Day didn't have everything to be able to reconstruct the full crying child so he could be released. Part of the crying child still remained. Years later, we get Glamrock Freddy in Security Breach. Whenever we go down to the sinkhole under Roxy Raceway, Glamrock Freddy gives us some pretty interesting lines whenever we're coming around to the blob. He says things.
I have been here before. She brought me here. I found myself for the first time when I cleared the path. I did not want to, but I had no choice. Now I have a choice. I have changed. My friends are here. They are so angry, confused. But I can protect you. I am not me.
He says things like, I found myself for the first time. I have changed. I am not me. All of those words, all of those phrases are questioning or identifying identity. Now, if you're trying to reconstruct someone based off individual memories, and you switch one of those memories with something else, that person isn't going to be fully reconstructed. And if Happiest Day, say, needed a full person to be put together to free them completely, but they only get 2/3 of the person, that 1/3 left is still going to be around. And for that, I want us to look at the plushes, right? We're going to talk more about the Spring Bonnie plush in another video that's, I don't know what's up with Mixes Maker 3. I'm thinking I might just mix it in with the 4 Games 1 Story video. There's just, like, every week something new pops up. The research on this is insane. I've researched more for this than I have for school or education or anything I did in my life. So, but let's just focus on the plush, right? If we're going by what Secret of the Mimic said, you got the ball, which is Balloon Boy. Those are the child representation of play. You have the blocks with the name. You have the 4 boxes with the 4 letters, which are supposed to be the name. That's Cece's identity. Then you have David's tiger plush. And then we have the Spring Bonnie plush, which is supposed to be the Fredbear plush. Now, if the Fredbear plush was never put into Moon.exe or Mixus.exe or whatever, CC.exe, the one thing that we're left with, actually, is the Fredbear plush. But how do we know the Fredbear plush didn't get put in? How can we see this? And for that, I turned to Sister Location, where outside of what I believe is to be the representation of the Nexus, you will be able to see that in this video here and get more details on it. Right outside of it, outside of the representation of the Nexus, is the Fredbear plush. That Fredbear plush is the reason why we do not perceive Happiest Day as working. That Fredbear plush and the agony it contained, the memories of Cece, was never put into the Mixes. So whenever Happiest Day occurred, it never freed Cece's identity out of the Fredbear plush. That Fredbear plush is what was remained. Now let's go and look at Security Breach. Whenever Glamrock Freddy goes down into the sinkhole, and you're with Gregory and Glamrock Freddy, my bad, he tells you that he found himself when he went down there before. So something underneath instantiated Glamrock Freddy's identity. It said, this is who you are. He went down and found it. However, he gives us some pretty poignant pieces of information. He tells us, I am not me. Let's go back to what we put into the Mixes, right? David's play, David's identity. And then in Happiest Day, you remove Cece's play and Cece's identity. Glamrock Freddy, whenever he went down beneath, got the last part of Cece from the Fredbear plush. This is why UCN happened. This is why he considers himself not me, because he doesn't have his full identity. Think about the ship of Theseus. This is a really cool example, right? If you take parts of a ship and completely rebuild them over and over with new pieces, when is it ever going to not be the original ship that was there, that was created or thought of in the experiment? And that's the same thing here. We took one piece of Cece's identity and memory, put it in Glamrock Freddy, and then he had to put everything else together. He is not Cece, but he's also Cece, mirroring the end of Alone Together, right? Travis goes throughout the story, and at the end, he finds his body, and he has this epiphanic moment, right? He says, looking at them both, they're both me. They're both his identity, right? His body and his agony, his ghost, his spirit that's going around, are both him. And whenever he puts it all together, then he's able to move on. Cece's not being put all together to move on. So just go ahead and go for a little quick recap on what this video was about, just in case I lost you anywhere else. Happiest Day did work, but it only worked for 2 out of 3 of the storage shelves at the bottom of the Nexus. The last shelf was the Spring Bonnie plush, which means that the shelf that was replaced, the Fredbear plush, was taken out. It never got freed during Happiest Day. This is why whenever the FNAF 6 Pizzeria burns down, UCN is created, things like that. So, the main pivotal question, did Happiest Day work? Yes, but it didn't have everything it needed to completely free Cece. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit that like button, swing your finger on over to the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what you think, right? Now this hit me through like hours and hours of research. And now that we're here, huge announcement. This Friday, August 7th, the day after tomorrow, I am launching the Theory Dad channel. And on this channel, it's going to be paying homage to Mr. Rogers and other things. And I'm going to confront a lot of drama, a lot of issues, a lot of conflict with an outside, I don't want to say authority, because that's kind of like condescending, but like an outside mentorship level, right? Like, I want to give guidance and new perspectives into certain things. I'm also going to be moving some of my charity live streams to the Theory Dad channel, as well as moving my positivity series, Lights On at Freddy's, highlighting content creators from the FNAF community that do good. And I'm going to be moving that over to the Theory Dad channel as well. So this Friday, I plan to release 2 videos. A video on She's Always Nervous. That's going to be the Lights On at Freddy's and the things she has contributed to our community. And the things she has contributed to our community. And then the other thing is going to be like a Mr. Rogers kind of sit-down poem over a pretty certain repeating topic that's been going along lately, especially like on Twitter, where a lot of people are just part of a toxic cesspool. Again, if you like the finger, if you like this finger, you better hit that like button. This is a special finger, okay? It picks my nose. Kidding. Anyways, sometimes. Anyways, if you liked the video, please hit the like button, swim your finger on over to the subscribe button. You guys remember to have the best day you possibly can. And until next time, keep floating in the ocean.